And that's Ember Twanicht, that's a Teo the month. On folk fereth, Frode Yethachte, October on tun, Ustu Yanikta winter fulleth. Swahini wieder kukt, eg buende Engle und Sexe, wheras midweavum. That's from the Menologium, which is a calendar in Old English. It's a Christian calendar, but it has little bits and bobs that might interest the antiquarian and even those of a pagan interest. I'm back in Tortworth in Gloucestershire. I can't go very far because I don't trust my car at the moment. There is no Saxon charter here, but there's lots of old names and some. There is in the tithe map of Tortworth, we have a reference to another hay, the greater goat hays and the lesser goat hays, and that was written, drawn in the 1838, I think, something like that. But nobody was using the word hay in the 1800s. It's an old name. At the latest post-medieval, at the earliest proper medieval. I'm next to the Little Avon. I've talked about the Little Avon before. It's part of a Saxon charter up in Hawkesbury in Gloucestershire, but we're a few miles away from there now, and obviously the river has to make its way to the sea, and it's on its way. So we're on the edge of Tortworth, and there's a hamlet here. Now, I've spoken to two locals today, one who said it was pronounced, was difference of opinion. So the first guy, he said, my father's buried in that church, I call it Avening. And the second guy said it's Avening, and that's closer to the way I call it. So this field over here is greater goat hays, and over there is lesser goat hays, and in between them is a hedge. I'm going to try and date that hedge because the public footpath goes through it, and that word hays, if you've followed me before, you'll know it means hedged enclosure. Used to have a G. That Y was originally, was in most English words where you see a Y, there was once a G, and it just gets glided over, and so the Old English word hagen, harwan, becomes harjan, which becomes hay. So you'll see lots of places in cities, road signs, names of lanes that say hay on them, and it means a privatised area, a hedged enclosure. So the record I'm getting this from is the what do you call it, the tithe maps of the 1838, I think, in this area. And that word haze is much older than 1838. Nobody really knows, even today, understand what the word haze means. It's not even archaic, it's lost to us. But as antiquarians, we can dig them up to tell us something about the landscape. While we're on the subject of tithe maps, on my previous video I talked about how the tithing system came to an end, and it took 100 years. So when I said it was part of the abolition, the tithe maps was part of the abolition of the tithe maps, that doesn't happen for another 100 years. But for about 1,000 years before that point, the 1838 or 1840, I can't remember, it was the tax was paid in kind. So literally the whole village had to bring the farmers had to bring their corn to the village and give 10% of it to the rector, the rector or the vicar, or the priest or whatever. But that wasn't the end of it. What the Tithe Commutation Act did was turn it into a cash payment, and then 100 years later it was abolished entirely. Quite rightly, the British people had had enough. It was archaic, it was medieval thinking in a modern capitalist world. So he's quite right to pick me up on it, but it was the beginning of that. The landscape, the relationship between people and state and church was timeless for 1,000 years before then, and but it was clear the world was changing, that relationships of tax and tithe and rent and all the rest of it, there was all relationships. I mean, the peasants themselves would owe their lords, owe the major landowners. They would be tenants of the major landowners and would owe them service, not cash, not rent. And slowly relationships would change naturally. The landlord would prefer to have it in cash, thank you very much. And then eventually the law just changes, and it becomes the case that we move into the modern world, and it's now not, you don't owe your landlord anything apart from the rent. You're not his servant, and that's a good thing. That capitalist relationships are better than feudal ones. So that's 3, defeated again. So yeah, 3 means it's pretty young. It's dominated by hawthorn and elder. There, you didn't think elder was a hedging plant. Obviously you've got a beautiful oak tree down there, and so we had elder, hawthorn and a plum probably. I can't see the leaves or the fruit, so it could be, I know it's of the prunus, I know it's of the plummy prunus type of variety, but I couldn't tell you what it is. It's very frustrating. I was hoping for a medieval date, but that is science. You test, you have a theory and you test it. Of course it's not science, it's reason. You have a theory, you test it, got a historical document, and you give it a whirl, and I've failed. So, am I disappointed? Of course I'm disappointed. I've appointed myself the internet's hedge finder general, and instead of finding a satisfactory victim, I've failed. But it is we have to be philosophical about these things. I've got one more chance, I think. I'm going to have a look further along. Now, that hedge along there. Now, I discounted that when looking at the map because it looks like a watercourse. I actually think it's just a ditch. So if it's just a ditch, it's man-made. Therefore, we can date it as a hedge. However, from this distance, looking at it, I think it's modern as well. So, fantastic news. We have a hedge with more than 3 species in it. So I'm going to start. So this is the hedge between. Well, the river's over there. There's another field here. This is lesser goat haze on this side. So I'm going to start with that ash there, and there's an ornamental species, garden species. I can't remember what it's called. Is it viburnum? I can't remember. But anyway, so we've got 1, 2. We've got hawthorn there. 3. That over there is spiny. Oh, bloody hell! I can't get my slow. So it's 4 in a tiny area. You found 4 already. It's got catkins. Looks like a hazel. I reckon it is a hazel. I'm losing my mojo. So that's 5. I used to be a confident. See, my problem is, I was talking about it last time. Elms. You see, I can't tell the difference between this hazel and an elm. But what I can tell is you're supposed to have propellers underneath an elm, and that is a catkin. So, God, I hope I got that right. I am losing my mojo. So it's another slow. So how many is that? 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 hazel. So it's looking good. 5. Yeah, it's not to be sniffed at. Let's see what else we've got. I often find with dating a hedge that you very, very quickly get the total amount. It's normally well before that 30 yards is over, and so it reveals itself to you very, very quickly. God damn it! I was hoping for a big number, but no, that's a little bit more. Those might be ashes up there. What's that over there? Do we have an elm? The answer is I don't know. Do those lobes look asymmetrical? They don't to me. Oops. That one does. I think that might be. I think that might be an elm. I need to do some sort of course. I was reading an academic paper which made me feel good, because it said it's almost in, because all the elms are really in hedgerows, short things in hedgerows now, because Dutch elm disease, that it's largely impossible to identify them. But that, I think, if it is, we've got 6. So I'm going 5 or 6. So I spoke to two more locals, and I asked them about the avening, and they said avening first of all, and then I said this other chap called it avening. Oh yeah, no, it's avening. And I said, no, you said 3 syllables a minute ago, and now he's saying 2. So it's, we're all confusing ourselves. It's, so if it's 5 species, it all hangs on whether or not that last one was an elm or not. You tell me. Answers in comments below. If it's 5 species, the formula is number of species over a 30-yard stretch times 110 and then add 30. So if it's 5 species, that's 550, 580 years old, which will take it to medieval period. If it is 6, then it's well into the medieval period. That'll be 660 plus 30, 690 years old. Now it's obviously not that, that precise. It can't be. No formula that simple really works precisely in nature, but it's a good rule of thumb. So I think we found our medieval hedge for the swine hay, for the goat hays. Over there is Tortworth's, it's now called Tortworth's Copse. In the 1830s it was called the Great Coppice, and it is a large massive woodland, very attractive looking. We have alder there, got the sloe, the blackthorn, the hawthorn, the oak, the field maple, the rose. So this one here, we're just round the corner, so it takes a turn, the hedge. So I did a quick survey here, and we've got 7 species over here. So that's 800 years old, if we believe the Hooper system, which I think is a damn good rule of thumb. So all of the periods, all the numbers I've given you so far, they would have used the word hay in those times. So that's a good bit of news.